Meteorologist Greg D wanted to give you an in-depth update on Helene and what's been happening overnight. First of all, this is now a much better organized system on its way to becoming a hurricane, likely later this morning, if not early in the afternoon. The 5 a.m. update, 65-mile-an-hour winds. Can you see these dots here? These are position fixes from the Hurricane Center over the last couple of days. Notice they do not follow a straight line. They wobble. And I want you to notice that because look at the track, right? The track shifted a little west, has this nice straight line shooting right up towards the Big Bend. It is not going to follow this straight line. The forecast has nudged a little farther west this morning, but I find that very interesting because when you look at the model plots, not just from these spaghetti models, but the two major models, the Euro and the GFS that came out overnight, both of them are to the east of the Hurricane Center track. So I think the Hurricane Center track at 11, if this continues, could then nudge back a little farther to the east. East-west, east-west. Windshield wipers is what we're looking at here, and that's what's going to continue throughout the day today. At this point, any wobbles east and west will have very little impact on us. We're getting a large-scale hurricane into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. It's definitely not going to make a huge impact on the surge. And a track farther west may mean a stronger storm, which could basically negate any kind of weakening you would think we would get because of a system farther offshore. Interesting to note, hurricane warnings are up into south central Georgia this morning. For us, they're along the coast from Anclote north through Crystal River. Everyone else is under a tropical storm warning for the day on Thursday. Surge warnings along the entire coast of Florida. These numbers haven't changed on the west coast and the bay. 5 to 8 feet, Hillsborough and Pinellas County, 6 to 10 feet up toward the Nature Coast, 10 to 15 plus up towards the Big Bend, just depending on where it comes in. Now, based on the Wednesday 5 a.m. forecast from the National Hurricane Center, all of the Florida Peninsula sees tropical storm conditions during the day on Thursday. Today is going to be fine. No tropical storm conditions at all. The core of the strongest wind stays to the west of us in the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to be nowhere near sustained hurricane force winds here in the Bay Area. Now, if this makes landfall up towards Carabel, St. Mark's, just south of the Tallahassee airport, this is a big concern for our state capital as it puts the core of the strongest winds into the city of Tallahassee and the entire population of that city. You're talking about massive tree damage up here towards Leon County, Wakulla County, Jefferson, Madison, down towards Taylor counties. But again, it's probably not going to follow this track. So if we could just nudge this thing, I know you don't want it maybe closer to Perry, but you want to nudge it a little farther east, away from Tallahassee to put Tallahassee on the weaker side of the eye wall. It wouldn't make much of a difference for us, but it could really help that big population center and all the students up here towards FSU and FAMU. Now, our in-house computer model, and this is why I wanted to show you this, is not tracking like the Hurricane Center. So it very much is the scenario closer to the coast here. Now, I'm not saying this is necessarily going to happen, but it does give us an idea of what could happen if we start seeing wobbles toward our coast. Thursday morning, the winds in the morning gusting to about 30 to 40 miles an hour. So Thursday morning, you know, the first few hours of Thursday are looking great. I think we're going to see gusty winds, probably not a lot of rain, and I think Thursday morning looks fine. Thursday, 2 p.m., wind gusts 40 to 45, so we're gusting into tropical storm strength, but still nothing too severe. It's really once you get past the 4 o'clock hour that the strongest winds start to arrive. Late afternoon and early evening, wind gusts by 4 o'clock near 50 miles an hour. By 6 o'clock, we could be gusting. Now, this is if it tracks closer to us, above 60 miles an hour along the coast. And check this out, 7 to 9 p.m. You're talking about wind gusts 60 to 70 miles an hour. 8 p.m., wind gusts potentially I-75 west, 70 to 80 miles per hour. Now that would mean some more widespread power outages. This is if it tracks a little closer. When you look at the eye here in this forecast and I take it forward, notice our in-house computer model, it's called the graph, definitely brings us into Taylor, Dixie counties closer to Cedar Key. It's got Cedar Key gusting to Category 3 hurricane strength here late Thursday evening. By midnight on Thursday, the winds in Tampa are gusting to 45 miles per hour. The storm is done. Basically, the damaging part of the storm is done by midnight tomorrow. This is a 8-hour hurricane here for the Bay Area, as it will be accelerating forward and moving fast. Because of that, although flood watches continue for the interior, I do not think that inland freshwater flooding is a major concern. This is not a Debbie. Some of the computer models are only putting out 2 to 4 inches of rain along the coast, with the majority of the heavy rain falling up toward the panhandle. I think this is possible. I don't think we're going to see 20, 30-inch amounts with this system. Today, we've got cloudy skies. If you're doing some preps out there, some scattered afternoon and evening storms, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Now, any storms that develop today and tomorrow will carry a tornado threat. Now, less today, more overnight and tomorrow. We'll continue to track that, and that could continue into Friday morning with any leftover rain bands. But again, the worst, the damaging part of this one, 4 p.m. Thursday to midnight, with the biggest concern for the highest surge Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening with our high tides. There will be some onshore flow Friday morning, but I don't think it's going to be all that strong. So there could still be some higher than above average water levels Friday morning, but I think it's late Thursday that we'll be watching for those higher water levels. We've got you updated throughout the day today and tomorrow. Continuous coverage here on ABC Action News begins Thursday morning, and we'll go through all day Thursday to keep you ahead of the storm.